When we think of rock stars, we imagine wild parties, luxury mansions, and million-dollar paychecks. But for some of the biggest names in rock, the truth is much darker. Fame doesn't always come with financial security, and in some cases, it comes with a heavy price. In this documentary, we're diving into the lives of 8 iconic rock stars who made it big, lost it all, and fought their way through financial chaos. Let's begin. Number 8. Azie Osborne. Azie Osborne, frontman of Black Sabbath and the godfather of heavy metal, has lived a life as loud as his music. But behind the screaming crowds and sold-out tours was a man constantly battling financial instability. In the early days, Azie struggled with management issues and addiction that drained his finances. After being fired from Black Sabbath, he was nearly broke. Sharon Osbourne stepped in, not just as a manager, but as a lifeline. Still, their journey wasn't smooth. Between lawsuits, medical expenses, and maintaining their lavish lifestyle, money came in fast and left even faster. There were times when Azie was paying outrageous sums in legal fees and tour-related losses. At one point, the family had to auction personal belongings to stay afloat. Despite the chaos, Azie remains a symbol of resilience, rising again and again, both musically and financially. Number 7. Axel Rose. Axel Rose, the powerful and unpredictable frontman of Guns N' Roses, was once on top of the rock world. But the same intensity that made him a legend also led to long delays, lawsuits, and financial setbacks. Following the success of Appetite for Destruction, Axel became notoriously difficult to work with. He spent millions on prolonged production for Chinese Democracy, an album that took over a decade and reportedly $13 million to complete. He was also hit with lawsuits from former bandmates and business associates. Meanwhile, years of inactivity meant lost income and dwindling royalties. Only after reuniting with Slash and Duff McKagan did Axel truly regain financial stability. But it came after years of chaos, legal battles, and massive spending. Number 6. Keith Richards. Keith Richards is as famous for his guitar licks as he is for surviving, well, everything. But even this immortal rock legend has had run-ins with money problems. In the 1970s, the Rolling Stones faced massive tax issues in the UK. They had earned millions, but thanks to bad management and poor tax planning, much of it disappeared. The band had to relocate to France to avoid crushing UK tax rates. That period, now known as their tax exile era, was both creatively and financially critical. Add in legal fees, drug busts, and Keith's own chaotic lifestyle, and it's no surprise that money management wasn't high on the list. It took decades of smart moves and better management to put Keith and the band back on stable ground. Number 5. Slash. The top-hatted guitar genius from Guns N' Roses lived the rockstar dream. Fame, fortune, and excess. But while the band was raking in millions, Slash's personal finances were spiraling. The biggest issue? Contracts. In the early days, Guns N' Roses signed deals that gave away more than they kept. Slash later revealed he didn't fully understand how much he'd lost until it was too late. Combine that with expensive habits, wild spending, and multiple divorces, it was a recipe for financial disaster. There was even a time when Slash had to fight to regain rights to his own music and name. Although he's back on top now, touring and making money with GNR reunions, his past reminds us that bad deals can haunt even the best of the best. Number 4. Billy Idol. Billy Idol burst into the 80s scene with punk attitude and pop appeal. But his career, like many others, had its highs and lows, and so did his finances. After reaching peak fame with hits like Rebel Yell and White Wedding, Billy fell into a slump. His lifestyle became erratic, and so did his income. By the 90s, poor record sales, substance issues, and fading popularity caused his bank account to shrink. He later admitted that during his lowest points, he was burning through money with no clear plan. Comebacks are hard in the music industry, and they don't come cheap. Studio costs, promotion, tours, all require capital. Billy had to work hard to rebuild his career, both musically and financially. Number 3. Scott Wland. Scott Wland, the magnetic frontman of Stone Temple Pilots and Velvet Revolver, had one of the most recognizable voices in 90s rock. But his journey was marred by chaos, musically, personally, and financially. Wland made millions in his prime, but addiction, erratic behavior, and legal troubles kept eating into his fortune. He was fired from both STP and Velvet Revolver, often burning bridges that could have saved him. He lived an expensive lifestyle while his career was on a roller coaster. By the time of his death in 2015, he was reportedly broke and estranged from his family. A tragic reminder that talent alone can't protect you from financial ruin. Number 2. Neil Young. Neil Young is known for his poetic lyrics and independent spirit. But even this folk rock icon wasn't immune to money struggles, many of them triggered by his own principles. Neil has had multiple fights with record labels over creative control, royalties, and contract disputes. One notable case was with Geffen Records in the 80s, where he was sued for releasing albums that were deemed not commercial enough. He spent years in court, which cost him financially and emotionally. Brought in his support for activist causes and personal projects like Pono, a high-resolution music service that flopped financially. Neil's money was often tied up in risky ventures. He's still standing, respected as ever, but the road hasn't been paved in gold. Number 1. Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson might be best known for being the most famous pop artist in history, but behind the moonwalk was a man drowning in debt. At his peak, MJ had hundreds of millions in assets, including the Beatles catalog, Neverland Ranch, and more. But he also had massive spending habits, reportedly burning through $30 million a year. Lavish shopping sprees, settlements, lawsuits, and massive loans eventually left him in a financial crisis. By the time of his death in 2009, he was reportedly $400 million in debt. His This Is It tour was meant to be his big comeback, not just musically, but financially. Tragically, he passed before it could begin. Since then, his estate has regained control and turned things around. But MJ's story is a chilling reminder that even the richest can fall the hardest. Fame is loud, money even louder. But what happens when the lights dim and the money runs out? These legends remind us that success in the spotlight doesn't guarantee stability behind the scenes. If you found this eye-opening, hit that like button. Subscribe to Paranoid TV and ring the bell for more deep dives into the wild world of rock. Thanks for watching.